Dot map is also a function in JavaScript, okay, that allows us to iterate through a list of items. So we first of all set the item we want to pick. Each item, you know, we are looping through to get items, and each item we pick, we want to get the details of the item. So let me do something here. So we'll do console.log item. Anytime we get to this place, it should map through the items and display the items in the console for us. So let's check it out. It means we have to call the function again before that can be done. So let me pass in another this thing. What animal again am I using? Cat. Okay, and a cat is, let's say, 1200, and then this sweet little cat. Okay, that's the description. When I submit, look at that. In my console, you can see what just happened. So when it mapped through, you see the cat has also been brought here. So this is the individual items is going to retrieve from the local storage. So anytime I add a new item, automatically it will add a new card item in my card list here, and then display the details on top of it for me. That is what I'm doing here. So now that this item, you see, because I'm logging, console logging this, so it means that the item is coming with what? Is coming with the title of this object, the price of this object, and description of this object. And so that is what I'm going to capture. So first of all, I'll do this. I'll say card title. Card title, then I'll say is inner HTML. Okay, the card title's inner HTML will be item.title, because the name is this name dot this object key, right? The key of the object. That is what is going to retrieve this value for me. So it's going to be item. This item is just like when we're doing arrays and we're using index position 0 and so on, right? So with objects, you know, with objects you use the name, the key of the object. So this is going to map through, and this is an array. So the array with map, you don't need the index position. It's only going to retrieve the items one after the other for you. So that is what it's doing here. So the next one is going to be card price dot its inner HTML. Inner HTML is the content is going to put inside it, which is this content is going to, because we have created an element, so it will slot these things. It's just like we have created A3 in HTML, and in between it we are putting our text in. So this thing in JavaScript, this is going to slot the value in between an A3 tag. So when you view it in your DOM HTML document, you will see it as if you typed it there yourself, but it's dynamic. It was there, or it was created by the JavaScript code. So item.price, okay, this what will come in. And then we also have card.description.inner HTML equals the item.description, right? So that gives us that. Let's see. Let me make sure the description I'm using here. Okay, so is that description good? So it matches with it. So now I have all my things retrieved from the local storage. I have now assigned it to a dynamic element I have created in JavaScript. I would have typed this in HTML directly myself, but then when you do that, you don't know the number of items you are getting from the database, so you wouldn't know to to create four elements in your HTML code here. Earlier on we created how many? 6. From here 6. But what if our items are more than 6 or even less than 6? So in dynamic data generation, you don't preset, okay? You don't do it ahead of time. You rather leave that functionality to the library, the JavaScript code, to dynamically create those elements, slot in the values, and display it on your page for you. That's how it behaves. So that is exactly what we are doing here. So we have assigned these things to the individual elements, but take note that we need to also put this, wrap this in their individual cards, okay? And that is, so it means that we have these elements, we can spread them in this container, so we have to put it in its own div and call it a card, okay? So let's go there and do that, because this one targets the parent. So we are creating our new elements and then name it as what? So let our card element equals document.create. So we are creating one more element, then we'll put all the things inside before we go and then slot it in this one in the main bottom content. So that is what we are doing. So we'll call this a div. It's an element we are creating and we'll call it a div. And now all these things we have created here, title, price, and then this is what we'll do. We'll say card element dot append, and then this is what we are going to append. We can append multiple notes, multiple things to it, right? So it says notes plural, and then it has an array at the end, which means we can put in multiple things. So here, these are the multiple things we are going to put, right? That is the card title, comma, card price, comma, and then card description. These are the things we have just created, individual notes, items we have created. Now we'll append it to a div, a container, and then we will now append the container. So we'll put the container inside the card parent itself. So card parent dot append child, right? And then the child we want to append is going to be our card element we have just created. So when I save, let's see, it means anytime we do this, we have to add a new item. We can later do it so that anytime we refresh the page, it will automatically create it. So for now, let's do something. The way I'm shorting names of animals and you people are not helping me out. What animal do I bring in here? Are you people online? No one is even talking. Are you hearing of me? So you guys cannot give me any animal. Okay, even let me see, a bird. Hen. Then let me do 800. And then just put some nasty description. I'm tired of typing. Then I'll click on save, send. Okay, you can see I have one item here. Now I know why we have one item here, right? But then it means we are successful, right? We've been able to display one item in here, but it's showing the last item. It's not because that is all it saw, but then it was a flaw in the code, this part. We need to bring this part, whole part. Let me cut everything from here, the new elements I created, right, except the parent one, which is the main card parent I'm pulling by getting elements by ID. But the new dynamic ones I'm creating, I want to cut everything and put it in my map here at the top here. Because it created, as it, the moment it created it as one element, and then it is putting the items in, so it is only going to show one item. But then what we needed is that anytime it comes to create and we want to insert a new item, it should create another new instance of this particular element and then put the details in. So by doing that, it will give us the total number of items instead of just displaying only one, right? So I'll save that again. It has refreshed the content, and now let's add one item, because it's a function, we have to always pass something in. So I have to put something here. This is going to be crane. Let me crane, right? 700, and then let me leave the description. Then I'll click on send. Now let's see that you can see all the items are in here, right? They are in here. So we now can style it. Let me close this part for now. So we have this, and let's inspect the HTML and see something. So we are inspecting the HTML elements of this particular thing we have just created here, dynamic one. And so I'll click on this and click on one of the cards and look at them. So right in the main bottom content, bottom descent, which we define as our main descent, look at this. You see, we did not create div and then this element inside it. We did not do this, right? It was created by the JavaScript code dynamically based on the items it's pulling from the data, the local storage. This is the beauty of using dynamic contents, right? So in that way, your content can change at any time. We can even create it in a way that we can update certain things dynamically on the interface. It will store it, and then automatically it will display that on the interface. Let us do something and style this interface we have here. So we also have another property. You see, we created a card element container, and then we place these items in it, okay, the individual items in it. Now this card element here that we are calling at this place and appending a child, this card element, this one is here. This is it. We are adding items to it, right? But we can also do this card element dot add attributes, or set. We can set an attribute for it, right? And then you can see when I say set an attribute, the attributes are these ones. You see these ones here. So it means I can set an attribute class for it or ID for it, and because the items are many, I can use ID to reference them. If I use ID, it means I have to change the ID names and words. But if it's a class, it will relate to all of them. But the use case, what I want to actually do here is a class I want to set, so that when I do style this content, it will apply to all of them. So I'm going back here, and then in my JavaScript, I will set an attribute, and it says that what? When you are creating an attribute, use a qualified name. A qualified